Now, you guys heard me say a word there, voltage. What the heck does this mean? Electricity. Yes, it is. It's the unit that we measure electricity, but there's a reason that we measure electricity this way. Voltage is essentially the final product of the battery that we use. If we go to the next slide, I'm going to use a cool analogy to teach you guys all these different terms. So we have rating, we have voltage, we have capacity. But there are some that are missed out. Number one, there is torque. And I'm not saying like we're talking, okay? I mean torque as in the push force of torque. And there is also wattage, or your watts. Okay, so rating, voltage, capacity, torque, and watts. Now let's talk about this. Okay. The way I'm going to do this, the way I'm going to teach this to you guys is through an analogy. Let's say I was a rich bastard. I was going to take all of you to Sun City over the weekend, just because. And then we're going to go to the top of a water slide. And now one of you comes and you stand at the top of the water slide and you're freaking out. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to go down this thing. Me being behind you, I'm going to be impatient and I'm going to push you. That is torque. Okay, I've provided you with your torque. You weren't going to go by yourself. You were stuck in fear. Okay, so what did I have to do? I had to be an external force that used an angular motion to create a push so that you in front of me would move forward. That is torque. Okay, torque in its definition is an angular push force. All right, an angular push force that generally creates acceleration of some kind. Okay. So of course, I've pushed you, I made my arms an angle so that I could, no, not leverage, I don't remember the word, okay, but le something. It's definitely with a V, but I think it's only 2 syllables, but essentially that's what I'm doing to you, okay? I'm pushing you at an angle, or I'm making an angle to create, it's like pivots, but I don't remember what the word is, okay? So that's the torque. I've provided you with your push force. Now you're going down the slide. That's your wattage. How fast or slow are you going down the slide is your wattage, okay? In electric terms, we call the wattage the kilometers per hour of electric current. How fast or slow is the electricity moving through the system, okay? So you're an electron. In this analogy, you're an electron. You've been given your torque, okay? Same as if I press a light switch or a switch, that's torque, okay? I've used an angle to create motion, all right? Cool, we done that. I've also done that for you. Now you're an electron traveling down the water slide. Depending on how fast or how hard I've pushed you, you're either going to go fast or slow. But also depending on the actual water slide itself, you will either slow down or go faster. If there's not a lot of water, you're going to start slowing down. If the if the slide's made of material that keeps making you stuck, then you're going to slow down, okay? This is the equivalent of good cabling versus bad cabling. If you have cables that don't conduct well, or an electrolyte that doesn't conduct well, then the electricity is going to take a long time to get to all the cells and charge the battery, okay? But if you have a good material, in other words, the water slide is very lubricated, and I've given you a nice big push, then what's going to happen? You're going to slide nice and fast down this water slide, and what's going to happen at the bottom? Splash! That's the voltage, okay? If you had a small push and you went very slowly down the slide, you're just going to plop. There's not going to be a splash in the pool at the bottom, okay? That's the voltage, the final product of the electricity. It's not very much, okay? But if I pushed you hard and you slid down this thing, what's going to happen? You're going to make a cannonball effect in the pool at the bottom, okay? And that is indeed your voltage, okay? You want a big voltage. You don't want too big though, because if you have too big a voltage for the pool, what's going to happen? You're going to make too big a splash, and the pool is going to be empty. There's no more water, okay? When you have a light bulb that bursts, It's because the voltage is too much. Too much electricity traveled there and tried to fill up in the light bulb. The light bulb said, no ways, it's not going to work, and it pops. Okay, so that's why you have to balance all of this. That's also why some water slides actually have a weight limit. They say if you weigh this much, you just can't go down this slide. Okay, boom shaka. But now we still have more to talk about. We still have rating and capacity. Okay, your rating is how fast does the battery get used. You have 5-hour SLAs and you have 20-hour SLAs. The longer the SLA battery is discharged, the higher the capacity reading it will produce due to lower losses. Duh. If you use yourself for 20 hours, isn't it past 12 hours you get less good at every activity you take? You get tired, more and more tired with every action you have to take. Batteries are the same. Batteries will last and then they get tired, so they give a little less. And then they get tired, so they give a little less, until they give a little less, and little less, and little less. That's why we stick to the 80-20 rule instead of the 10% rule that we learned yesterday. Because the 80-20 rule means that we stop before we are we're draining the battery. At 20%, you are draining 20% of a battery is like you when you have your eyes falling asleep, but you still have to drive home. That's a dangerous game. You don't want to do that. Okay, so that's why we put the batteries away at 20%. All right, voltage we talked about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about voltage in terms of batteries, just so you guys can have a little bit of a better understanding there. Your nominal voltage, who wants to take a guess what nominal voltage is? Nominal voltage is not your minimum voltage. Nominal voltage is your desired minimum voltage. So it means that a battery can have less voltage in it than your nominal voltage. But nominal voltage is basically the point where you don't want the battery to drop below this voltage. Okay, nominal voltage is the minimum desired voltage. What is the difference between a 4-volt battery and a 12-volt battery? Yes?
I think the 12-volt battery is more power.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what does that mean?
It means that the 12-volt is going to last much longer than the other.
Number one, your 12-volt batteries will probably last a lot longer. And what happens if I were to take the 4-volt and 12-volt and throw them on the ground? What would the difference in whatever happens be? Yeah, they'll both explode, but the 12 volts, you guys are so fucking late, dudes.
Oh, sorry.
Yo. The 12 volts, the 4 volts will explode as well, but the 12 volts, you won't want to be standing next to it as it explodes. Okay, so that's the difference between your 4 volts and your 12 volts. Cool. As a consequence, I'm stealing both of your lunches. I'm kidding, guys. How can I be so cruel to take food?